Welcome to Low Elo Age of Empires 2 on Xbox. In the blue corner, we've got Knitmiss1618 playing Khmer, which I've always assumed was pronounced Khmer or maybe Khmer, but apparently that's just how English speakers tend to say it, because that's how the French said it when they occupied Cambodia. Well, the native pronunciation is actually more like Khmer, but the syllables combine in a way that's challenging for English speakers, so I'm probably still getting it wrong. At this point, I would typically say anyways and move on to something more germane, but we're only one sentence into this match and I've already learned two new words. Knitmiss. Knitmiss. That turns out to be Dutch for jackknife, so badass gamer tag, my dude. And on the red side of the map, Camilo2335, which is probably just his name, so no linguistics tangent on this side of the map. But he's also playing as Khmer, so we've got a mirror matchup. Khmer can do some unorthodox builds since they don't have any building requirements. Not sure if these players will know about that, but it's something to keep an eye out for. Khmer farmers don't have to drop off their food, so you can put the farms anywhere. And that's a huge bonus in my opinion for Xbox players, as it's going to free up some of your limited APM. To wrap up the Civ bonuses, they can garrison in houses, get faster elephants, and have a team bonus for +1 range on their scorpions. So what's interesting about this match? Blue is playing full manual, while red is using auto eco. So we'll be able to see throughout the game how some of the differences play out, where sometimes auto has an advantage and sometimes manual does. Both these players are in the 800s, and remember, console elo is a bit weaker than PC, so if you're used to watching those games, this might be more around a 400 or 500 level. So red's off to the early lead here, being a villager ahead, and he's had fewer idols than blue. Automation is making the difference so far, doing a pretty good job retasking those idle villagers. It's not always going to task them efficiently or safely, but it makes it so you can't just forget about them and leave that one stray villager standing idle for 600 years. So basically, how the automation works is you set a preset or pick ratios manually, and then the game tries to keep the right amount of villagers on each resource. But it's not perfect. When it changes jobs, it doesn't drop off in between, and you can't control exactly who it will assign to what job and when, so you can't precisely follow a build order if you're using automation. But it doesn't seem like either of our players here are using a build order, and red is still off to a lead in score and population. Autoscout's putting in the work too. Blue's been scouting manually and hasn't been able to explore quite as much of the map. So how can you tell that Camilo's playing auto while Knitmiss is on manual? Auto eco really likes to take stragglers, and it's going to send villagers to wood early every time. Another tell, when red runs out of sheep, all those shepherds are going straight to berries without even thinking about taking the boar. Blue, on the other hand, all his stragglers are intact, and his scout has frequently been idle, so we know he's trying to tackle both without using the automation. Bunch of idols right now, but you'll see that red resolves theirs pretty quickly, and that'll happen consistently because the automation will only leave villagers idle for a few seconds before it assigns them to a new job. See, there they go, all of them right over to the berries. Boar? No. Boar? No, the boar's scary. I don't want anything to do with that boar. Villagers die to the boar, okay? Do you want my villagers to die? All right, so even if you don't want to take the boar or know how to take one manually, you can actually just use the site menu on it and a villager will do it for you. You should get Loom first though, because it's not an awesome lore, so you need Loom to survive. But if you haven't figured out how to do it yet, it's at least something. It's better than leaving the boar alone. Because the hunt is a super fast source of food. Taking berries is incredibly slow. Your villagers are going to bump into each other. Even if the boar, even a bad lore where it's not even under your TC, it's still worth it to take the boar. So red's got a very wallable map here, but he's been housed for the whole time I was telling my boar story. So we'll see if he gets some walls up there. Blue's map's not quite as... Woo! What do we got going on right here? Stealing some sheep. Red's being a lamer boy and right in the middle of the lore. There's nothing blue can do to fight that. Come on, what? 500 IQ strats. What a play. So, I was heading right over to Blue Scout. We gonna see some revenge? Get him, Blue, get him. Nope. Oh, headed back. No, just kidding. He stole my sheep. I don't want to fight that dude. He's tough. So what's going on red's side of the map? Still housed. It's focusing all the APM into that sheep steal. But we got one coming up here on the back. It could be better, in that slot, plugging up the hole for the trees. He does have the more wallable map of these two, and his golden stone are in the back, and that's really nice. He's even got a boar back there towards the back. Sometimes in lamey games, your front boar, you want to get that one first because your opponent can come forward and steal it. But I've never seen someone do that on Xbox so far. It's the micro is a little bit tricky in general. But basically, you'll see two different techniques, either a zigzag or like stop micro with the scout. There's our stolen sheep, arriving safely back under the TC. But blue doesn't need any sheep. He's taking the boar, man. So I don't actually know the math on this, but I'm pretty sure that taking the boar versus not is a bigger advantage over losing those two sheep. So let's see how this next lore goes. Is he going to bring it in kind of between the town center and the mill this time again, or let's see. I still go for the 2-shot also, because that's how it used to be, but you can actually get away with just 1 shot now. And it looks like we're just luring right to the center again, which is still totally great. The hunt collects super fast. Even just like taking the hunt long distance is about the same efficiency as taking the berries with a mill like right there. All right, so I'm just fighting with the mini map here. So there's no capture age for Xbox, not even I don't think for Microsoft Store on PC. All right, so blue, he's actually housed at 15 pop, the same way that red was, kind of just forgetting about it for a while. But we got a farm coming up already, just the one on berries. Usually, I mean, before spending wood on the farms, you want to eat some more of those berries. But he does have 2 house foundations there, almost a house wall. It's so close. Sometimes with Khmer, you see players won't be house walling forward as much because they want the houses like right next to their resource camps to be able to garrison. But I'm not sure that's what blue's thinking here. I think there's actually just not that much thought going into the house placement. Check out the west edge of blue's base. That's what I'm talking about. He's got a huge opening compared to how red's just got these little doop, 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 small little spots where it'd be easier for him to wall up. But we're not thinking house wall. We want our houses with that scenic view of the void right there at the edge of the map. Camilo is on his way up to Feudal Age though, and we've got the barracks coming up. So maybe we're looking for some early aggression, but possibly also just forgot you don't need a barracks as Khmer. They both actually end up farming around the mill first, which is normally like an automation thing, but did you see that? That bloop, 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 bloop. So yeah, there's like no way you can place farms that fast with a controller. I mean, I don't know, maybe Viper with a controller, but like definitely not me, and certainly not these guys playing 800 here. But yeah, the automation, it goes for the mill first, and then makes the pinwheel out around the town center. So you see blue here, his pace placing the farms is like, that's a lot more like what you'd expect to see here. But check out that mining camp. Good 1 tile. I don't know why he's taking the further gold instead of the closer one, but good camp nonetheless. So it looks like we're focusing on getting these farms out. Got a couple idols there. This is, again, that Camilo with the automation, no idols. His idols get taken care of automatically very fast. So not the greatest farm placement. You can definitely tell he's placing those by hand. But with Khmer, you don't actually need to worry about that because they don't need drop-off points. You can farm anywhere. So like sometimes you'll even see farming around a castle or something like that. What's Camilo got going on with this Feudal Age? Looks like we're getting the wood upgrade. We got double bit axe coming in. That's great, especially with the Khmer. You can get that sooner since you don't need as much wood to make your buildings. And he's got another bit of a villager lead, but Knitmus right behind him up to feudal. So we'll see what he's going on. Maybe we'll see some aggression from that side of the map. Remember, he does have the jackknife. Can get you. No military buildings from blue yet at all. So if red did make anything, even just a couple men at arms, he could probably get some good damage in here. All right, what do we got going on with the scouts right now? Seems like they're both maybe on auto scout at this point. Knitmus was trying to scout manually earlier. Was having a bit of idle time with the scout though, so at least he's getting more visibility now using auto. But I mean, you gotta practice. You gotta keep trying the manual. It's the only way to actually to figure it out. And if you've seen any of my gameplay, I'm pretty bad at looking at my units too. So that's something we're all here on Xbox trying to figure out together. And these guys being 800, they're just getting started with the game. So blue could be refreshing his lumber camp by now. It's kind of different from the stone and gold. You want to keep the lumber camp pressed right up against the wood instead of leaving the gap, because the trees, they get chopped down and depleted, so your villagers are working further and further away from them pretty quickly over time. So with reds, that camp being mashed up right against the tiles, that's going to stay that way for a while. But I mean, we don't have a camp at all on the stone, which I think that's automation happening again here. Because if he was thinking about building a castle or something, he would have thought to place the camp also, right? If you've got balanced as your preset, it'll start taking stone right away as soon as you pick the preset, even if you're not thinking oh, I want to build a castle, so I'm going to make a mining camp. Everything that's in your automation, either if you're doing the ratios or the presets, it tries to collect all of them right away at the same time. It doesn't go one thing and then the next, in a build order, like how a player would. But check this out. Check this out. Look at this. Camilo didn't even find his own sheep, and he stole blues. Didn't take his boar, didn't find his own sheep. But no, those sheep aren't important. We need to eat your sheep. This is a you problem. Lots of food for both players though. So maybe we're gonna see Castle Age soon. Got more farms coming up still. When I play Khmer, I just spam them all over the place. Like I'll just, kind of lean the thumbstick and just like the A button, just, wherever. Ideally, maybe you put them next to something that can shoot, so you still have the protection. But, oh, scout fight? No. Just auto scouts, just passing in the middle there. But even more farms coming out. Still just the one villager on berries, though. Like that, he's possessive of them. Like someone tries to come over. No, these are my berries. This is my job. I'm harvesting these. I did get horse collar, though. So I'm not sure if red has that yet. And I think so blue both doing a pretty good job with eco upgrades. Knitmiss maybe a little bit ahead. Still behind in population, though. He's down by 3 villagers at this point. And Camilo, he's just about got the food to click up. So at this point, again, the automation really looks like it's the winner. Red has got a much stronger looking economy at this point. He's 3 villagers ahead. He's got, the farm placement doesn't matter as much. Hey, taking to one of Red's sheep. So he didn't find 3 of his sheep. 3. Going, I don't know, man. I know people have like different feelings about laming. I mostly feel like it's part of the game. It's fair play, but okay. But what really like gets my goat about it, gets my sheep about it, is like when you put the effort into taking your opponent's resources when you haven't even found your own. It's like, it just is like. So I don't know. What do you guys think about laming? You hit me with the comments. Let me know. Both players with the resources to click up now. Blue's got over 1,000 food, 800 wood, 400 gold. I do really like the flashing age shield. That it's a good feature on Xbox, so making it real easy to know like when you're ready to click up. And I don't think either of them have gotten loom by now. Which, it's been such a peaceful game that hasn't really mattered, but like, we're 20 minutes in. Unless you're playing Arena, you almost always have loom by now. The difference in their playstyle, I think, is really kind of hilarious with that sheep still standing out there. Camilo went like out of his way to go steal those 2. This is just going to be a thing this game. I'm going to keep talking about these sheep. But that one that Blue managed to snipe back, the unfound one by the gold pile down there, is still just sitting there. He doesn't even have any interest in bringing it home. He might not have even realized that he took it, since he, I think, is on auto scout now as well. Which, if you're going to auto scout, that's the way to do it. Look around a bit first, and then go ahead and get that visibility later on, once you've already found your opponent and found your resources. But we've got a blacksmith coming up for Knitmiss now. No military units yet, but he's got the blacksmith. And gold mining coming in for Red. Good timing on that. It's real typical to get that when you're on the way up to Castle Age. We've got fletching on the way for Red already, but I still don't think he's made any army. Maybe we're gearing up for our first battle here, coming up in the Castle Age. We should see lots of elephants. I hope so, at least. Khmer are kind of meta on Xbox with the ballista elephant being so strong. They have the unique tech, the tusk swords, which gives you +3 on the battle elephants. So the double chunk grande meal combo, unstoppable. Monks, halberdier, no, those don't exist. But check this out. Check out he could go for the perfect double forest lel camp right in the middle there. Be sick, dude. No, this camp, we have this camp. Why would we make another one? We have one. All right, got a stable and fletching. So maybe confusingly, fletching doesn't actually affect your ballista elephants. Hybrid units are hard in general, and I might do a video later about like all the unique units of like what upgrades you need. But for the ballista elephant, you need bloodlines, husbandry, siege engineers, chemistry, double crossbow, and cavalry armor. So they look kind of like they should be a cav archer, which would use archer armor. But the ballista elephant, it's a siege unit, so it doesn't benefit from archer upgrades. And confusingly, the war wagon being made out of wood, it's a cav archer. It's not a siege unit. Ah. All right, so the tower's what the fletching is for. Oh man, so I used to hate towers. Like when I was playing this game growing up, like getting tower rushed, I would just resign. It was like the most stressful thing in the game. Like I could not believe like how, first of all, why would you want to do this? Like when you've got all these awesome military units you could make, like why would you make a tower? Like, but the towers have been nerfed since then, and if you do get tower rushed, you just send some of your villagers and just batter it down, especially like because you'll have more than like whatever ones they sent forwards, and the idle time that you're losing fighting the tower is going to be less than your opponent because they had to walk across the map too and spend time mining the stone. All right, Knitmiss, he's got his monastery on the way up, got a range. and a lot of resources. He could be on the way up to Imp soon. So Red's got a good amount of resources too. Still has the villager lead. He's remembered horse collar now, but he's on top of the wood upgrades. Got bowsaw coming in. So wood upgrade, just the one lumber camp though. And hey, here's my sheep. Stealing them back, stealing them back. Send them home. Send them home, Blue. Send them home. Those are your sheep now. You earned those sheep. Send them home. Please? Please send them home. All right, we'll keep actively monitoring the situation with the sheep here. So you see that 249 on the farm? That's how you can tell, like in game, you can click on your enemy's farms and you can know what upgrades they've got by how much food's on them. And everybody going to stone right now. Holy. You get a pickaxe. You get a pickaxe. Everyone gets a pickaxe. So we got 22 stone miners. So he's got to be thinking elephants. And he did get the stone mining upgrade already. You don't always see higher level players bother getting that. All right, maybe just a misclick. We've got a bunch of these guys headed over to gold now. So if you do want to saturate a gold pile or stone that heavily, you want to get a second camp up on the other side too, just so they work a little more efficiently. And maybe going back over to stone? So man, all this walking time going back and forth, it's really adding up to a lot of lost resources. Those villagers aren't working when they're walking, and that might seem nitpicky or too much of a nuance, but little details like that, like placing your camps efficiently and making sure that your villagers are working without too much bumping, it adds up and can feel like you're getting snowballed by an opponent who's way better than you, even though you're actually about the same skill, but they made a bunch of those little decisions like a little bit better. Especially in longer games like this one, it does add up over time. And the bumping especially, you can't see that on your idle villager indicator. It's just totally like a hidden loss of efficiency, especially if a villager gets completely stuck behind another one. Did you see that university up there in the corner? You know what that's for. Murder holes. Army coming out for Knitmus though. No upgrades yet, but he's getting cav archers, we've got elephants, a bunch of villagers in queue. And he's still behind. He's 10 villagers back, but he's ahead now in the military population. And he's also probably thinking of going for ballistas. We got the stone mining here. Camp coming up kind of on the wrong side there. Like if you've got the TC on one side, the mining camp can go on the other side. But I mean, still putting it there is better than just walking all the way to the TC. I mean, but talk about placement in these houses. Especially with the Khmer, man. Like the houses, like that can be so valuable to just like plop a house next to your gatherers to give them a spot to hide in. There's the castle. Got the one villager castle coming up. Maybe our dear friends coming over like, hey bud, that looks like a lot of work. Oh no, nope, not. Oh, all right. So his wife's coming over to help him. This is it's the king and the queen. They're building their home. So no military units yet. Got the castle coming up. That's gonna have murder holes and ballistics. So that's by far the strongest unit on the field right now is gonna be this castle. It's in a decent spot, covering the golden stone over there, but it is vulnerable to being downhill in that position also. I guess it's covering the relic too. And speaking of the relics, Blue's been doing a great job collecting those. That he's, I think that's his second, and he's probably gonna get the third one that's closer to him on kind of the northeast side of the map, right above that forest. The two on red side, I don't know if he'll be able to grab those, especially with the castle covering the one that's furthest up in the north. So another lumber camp coming up, but also just starting this one off super far away from the forest. Maybe that's just how he likes them. You know, the line of villagers walking back and forth, like that's part of the immersion. So got lots of resources, 1,000 food. Doesn't seem like he's looking to click up still at this point. And wow, still berries. Oh, that's just the scout. So this is why you get murder holes. So I used to do the same thing. I thought castles were completely useless without murder holes and was frustrated like why they would make that an upgrade you had to get and not just a feature that the castle had. So the scout goes down to that castle. So, I mean, who am I to be mocking the decision to get fletching ballistics and murder holes for your castle with no army? Because he's got a kill and I don't. More towers. And he's got guard tower upgrade now and it looks like a bodkin arrow too. So, I mean, he's getting the upgrades for the towers, so that's good. Still some military units. That'd be great. The towers it's cleaning up the wolves, keeping his people safe. No wolf rush happening here. Both mining techs. You don't always see those, especially stone shaft mining. So Blue's got some farms expiring. He's kind of on top of taking care of them. Does have 5 idols and the villager lead now. So earlier in the game, largely due to the automation, Red has been ahead. He's had more population almost the entire game. But Blue, he's got the second TC up now. So he's taking the lead there in villagers. And there's relic number 3. He's going to be bringing that one in. This guy's going to build a castle too. That's what he's standing out there for. Yep. He probably sent him over there a little bit before he had the stone, and then, it's just waiting. Hey, I got enough now. But I mean, building it a little forward there on the hill is like maybe where I would have placed it, because it covers the gold up there too. So Blue still hasn't taken his main gold right there by his town center, but is like, walking across the map to take these further away piles. He's even got another close one there by the archery range that he hasn't taken. Catching up in score though. We've had a bigger score difference for most of the game so far, but Knitmiss is only down by about 100 points right now. And there's the military production from Red. Let's go! Let's fight. The sheep standoff we got going on is like, it's the most intense battle we've had so far. Got one on red side, one on blue side. Another 1 villager castle, and another sheep over here. This castle, similar to the other one, it's downhill, but it is protecting the gold. So, I mean, Camilo's got a pretty good defense, that arc of arrow fire wrapping around the whole side of his base there with castles and towers. So I wonder if we'll see any defenses from Blue. Maybe he'll go for castles too, maybe a wall. And there's the army from Red. Defensive units. We got skirms and spearmen. Upgrades though. Remember, he's got ballistics and bodkin from the castle earlier. Handcart on the way now too. Makes the eco work faster. It's actually a bit of a defensive upgrade too, because like the villagers, they move faster all the time. It's not just that they work or drop off specifically faster, it's all of their movement. And if you're Bohemians, even you can get the monk text to go even faster. So we've got elite skirm on the way now, pike too. So still lots of defense. The focus in Red's mind is definitely like he wants to be safe. He doesn't want to be attacked. And well, there's the cav armor. So we got some more upgrades on the elephants, getting all the upgrades. So Blue, I don't think has any upgrades yet, but he is on his way up to Imperial now and still has the villager lead. But whoo, that's a big wall. The Great Wall of Cambodia, man. Not using the trees over here, but is using them on the other side. You could save some stone, like walling off those smaller patches, especially if you're not actively harvesting those trees. You're not going to over chop through them. So it looks like he's just got that one villager building the wall. So if you're going to do like a huge wall like this, like you got to get multiple villagers out there. Because, I mean, if it doesn't go up fast, your enemy's just going to walk around. So it's not even going to be a good wall. It's just going to be a big wall. But Red is giving him the chance to get away with it. He's had a lot of opportunities where he's been in the lead earlier in the game. Not necessarily with military, but he's had the population that if he wanted to build up an attack faster, the wall, he would have gotten there long before the wall even started going up, let alone completes that much. It's walling off half the map, it looks like. But Knitmiss is in the Imperial Age now. He's still got that one sheep out there onto Red's castle. So let's check out this other castle. All right, so the relic, it's just outside the range indicator. I think if he gets Bracer, like that relic's going to be covered. The monk won't be able to touch it. So I have range indicators turned on just like for on click, because I think that that's reasonable in the same way that you can click units to see their stats. I really don't like persistent range indication. I mean, first of all, it's ugly, but it takes away a skill aspect of the game, being able to judge or you taking the time to count the tiles. Which I know some people are not going to disagree with that. I think it should be taken out of the game, even though it's not even a mod anymore. It's been, it's been upgraded to an actual in-game setting, and I don't think it should be. There's our third relic though for Blue, so he will have the lead in the late game with that gold income. And got the big conga line of villagers. The way they're all marching in sync is kind of cool. Check that out. But where are these? Maybe they're going to help with the wall? All those villagers get that wall up quick. So maybe we'll see a forward castle though. Forward castle will be dope. And he does have the stone for it. 839 on the stone. No one's mining. I would say just drop it right in Camilo's face, but they both do have military now, and it doesn't look like the army is going out to protect these villagers. All right, so it's definitely not our wall, walking right past it, and oh, we're headed to this gold pile out here, but oh no, this is gonna be bad. Turn back! Don't do it, you guys. Go back. Please go back. Knitmiss doesn't see the castle. He can't see it now. He sees it. 1, 2. He doesn't have loom. He must not have loom. Those villagers are melting. Oh my god, that's so many kills. You guys, We're headed back now, and we've got the sheep. We got the sheep. This was the mission. The gold, that was a ruse. We were bringing home the goods. I would say bringing home the bacon, but we didn't get pigs in this map. It's a sheep. All right, that outside gold, that was scary. Did you see how many of us died out there? We're gonna take this nice, safe inside stone, and we're gonna get back to work on this wall. Because do you know what walls stop? Castles. So still massing up the army here, still not getting upgrades, and a little bit of the AI army comp with ballistas, cavalry archers, and battle elephants, and a new scout, because this scout died. That's a new scout. Not a light cav, not a hussar, but we are getting a loom now, and still producing villagers. Knitmis still has the villager lead, a pretty big one by now, and the military lead now too. Camilo had closed up the gap there in military numbers for a minute, but he's got half of the army size now. But both players are in the Imperial Age now, so maybe it's time to fight. Camilo had been faster into both Feudal and Castle Age, but a bit slower, actually quite a bit slower, getting to Imp. So automation, it was really helping him out in the early game. But the decision to stay on 1 TC but not push was really hurting his mid game there, where Knitmis, he got the second TC up. Usually you see 3, sometimes even more, like if you're going for First Crusade. But Camilo is continuing to produce. He's got a Treb coming out now. He's still way behind in both villagers and military numbers, 12 to 13 on the military count. Ahead in kills though, as the only kills we've seen in this game are from the castles, and both times it was Knitmis walking into them without looking. Ton of food for red though. We could see lots of chunky boys coming up. The way that the Khmer food just like up like that continuously when you've got a decent number of farms, like that's like really satisfying. Like just look at that. Watch that food climb. Double crossbow, let's go. I love double crossbow. It gives your ballista elephants and your scorpions a second projectile, and I just think that's fun. That's a cool tech. So does Camilo have a second TC yet? Oh, there is a new lumber camp over there, but it looks like we're still on 1 TC, and our 2 sheep still alive here next to the farms. We're not going to eat that free food. We're going to build farms for food, because we're vegetarian in this society. See, we don't eat meat. We raise vegetables. You know what? That must be why he stole the sheep from Blue in the first place, to save them. You see, we're a civilized society over here on Camilo's side of the world. Not like, you know, those uncultured meat eaters on the blue side of the map. And what's going on over here? Okay, this is a super weird gate. Like, so gates, they take up more tiles than a wall piece, but they have less HP than that same number of walls would have. And probably, actually more importantly, you can stack more units up against them when you're trying to break down a gate, so they go down a lot faster. Got some more text coming in too, though. Got Town Patrol, don't always see that one, and Wheelbarrow. Camilo, he's already got Handcart, but oh, Holy University, he's queuing up all the text, even Heated Shot. And of course, Murder Holes. So I similarly, like, I would always do the same thing. I never read the tech tree and just thought that, like, Heated Shot must be what gives your arrows that cool fiery effect. I didn't even know about that chemistry gave you range too. So let's check out what's going on with Red's defensive strategy. He did get Bracer now, so that relic is covered. And we got overlapping fire with the towers and keeps now, actually. So he's got keep, chemistry, plenty of university techs on this side of the map also. Got the pikes, got the skirmishers, forging even. A bit late getting forging in Imperial Age, but we haven't had any fighting yet. And Blue, I don't think has any attack upgrades yet, so still ahead there. Score is really tight. 1 point, actually, of score difference. And Camilo, he's spending his resources now. I mean, still 1,000 food, but he had like 2,000 of some resources floating at one point. But Elite Ballista Elephant coming in. And see, that's looking a little bit healthier, right? You know, like 100 of each resource it's more reasonable. You want to basically keep spending like as fast as you can. Like, if you can just outproduce your opponent, you can overwhelm them, even if they're playing with a better strategy or have an eco lead that they're not actually making use of. Like we've seen back and forth here with the eco, that Camilo was ahead in the early game, but didn't attack. And Knitmis has been ahead throughout the mid and, I mean, what would be the late game right now, but this one goes pretty long if you can't tell. that neither of them are attacking, that they've had windows where one they could have easily GG'd the other one back and forth several times now, but neither of them is actually capitalizing on any of that. The wall, it looks like, is going to complete, and we mined up that whole stone mine. Still haven't taken those golds near where he started, but maybe that's the strategy. We're going to keep those ones safe for later. Deep inside the walls, lots of protection behind the castles. We got 2 stables coming up over here by the gate. Maybe we're thinking sneak attack. And he does have Cavalier in the queue. So yeah, we're going to make Cavalier out of those 2 stables. We're going to sneak up around the corner, maybe through the gate, and fortified wall. It's a fortified gate. So yeah, lots of techs. Still no production though right now. It's like we were doing the army production earlier, and like now we're getting our upgrades. I think all like eco and like defensive, like university upgrades. Not much from the blacksmith so far. Got crop rotation. So long game, crop rotation makes sense. Lots of food on those farms, especially if we're going to go elephants. You need lots and lots and lots of food. Elephants, I think they're 100 food, the ballista elephant. I got architecture queued up there. Makes the building stronger. And this guy's still collecting berries. Imperial Age berries. That is not something you see in every game. That's what's so cool about low elo. Like, you just get to see stuff you don't normally see. That's part of what's cool, I think, about Age of Empires, just in general also. Like, I've never seen in other gaming communities so much focus, especially like constructive and positive kind of focus of watching lower skilled players play, and like not just like the sweatiest of tryhards. So Camilo's keeping up the production now. It's kind of like an inversion. Like, he was getting his upgrades first earlier, and now he's producing. Where Knitmus, he was producing earlier, and now he's getting his upgrades. And he does have tusk swords already. That's the Castle Age unique tech. Gives you +3 on the battle elephants. That's why the elephant has so much more attack than the pikeman right now. The pike was just on +1, but he's got +4 on his elephants. Also crop rotation coming in at around the same time as Knitmus. And that's something I kind of think is fascinating. The symmetry between different players, like the decision making and the timing, that you'll see the same things at the same times. And sometimes that can be attributed to build orders, but at low elo especially, like a lot of players kind of just do what they want. Like they'll do like the typical like 6 on sheep start, and then it's a lot more variety, like how we still just have the 1 TC here from Red. Yeah, I don't think that there's any build order that calls for 1 TC, no attack, but we do have elite battle elephant and elite ballista elephant. More pikemen coming out, so maybe thinking it's a mirror, I need to counter the elephants coming out from Knitmus, who on the blue side of the map, he actually does have now both production and upgrades going at the same time. He's catching up on everything at the blacksmith. He's got more cavalier, lots of them in queue from both those stables. Got the +2 armor coming in, both infantry and cav. Guard towers coming up around the gate. So Camilo, remember, is on keep at this point. So I'm not sure who's got the defensive advantage here. I think Knitmus, because he's got the big fortified wall, and so even though he's behind on the tower upgrades, we'll see if he picks up keep later. But towers by the gate, even though like they can kind of look cool, like if you put one on either side, it's like, you know, a pleasing kind of design. They're not really going to do anything when you're in Imperial Age and you've got bombard cannons and trebs that can just range them. But we do have a little bit of massive cavalier standing up there by the gate. They're at the ready, gonna move out any minute now. Still just the Castle Age ballista elephant though. Camilo is on elite. So Camilo, he's got the military lead numbers and upgrades now, but is still behind in villagers. So Blue's got the population lead, and he's only behind by 5 military units now. But like, look how cute he's got his rally point set up here. Like, this one is for the battle elephants. This is for the cav archers. And we've got our ballista elephants over here. We've got, so one of our ballista is out of formation over there with the trebuchet. Maybe he's like the siege commander. But Red, this is more typically, you used to see like the units just queuing up just right around the building. Which I like to do the forward gather point thing, like to send them to a hill or something, or like when you're in a battle, sometimes you want to stream reinforcements in, which, I mean, that can kind of bite you, that if you start losing the fight and keep trickling, that like, you're just throwing resources away. Halberdier in for Red now. So like later in the game, like if you get to 200 pop, like full of elephants, even though the halbs are gonna win cost-wise, they're not population efficient. So the player, if you commit to just full elephants instead of like the mixed army comp here, you can still win even though you're losing, because they won't be able to make, especially out of just the one barracks, halbs fast enough to stop you, because you'll just be crushing with elephants. Red is grabbing his relics now, though. He got the relic there by the castle. Probably going to head right over here to the west side, grab that second relic too. So he'll be at a disadvantage, but some gold income going into the late game. And he's producing more balanced with the trash units, where blue's comp with so much gold, the quad gold comp, like, you know, relics aren't going to sustain that. Maybe in a team game with like an Aztec ally, the relics they're going to do more, but I mean, elephants, they're expensive. And you've got trade too, like infinite gold in team games, but sneaky cavalier, let's go. All right, come on, let's see a raid, let's go. Come on, man, come on. So this is the moment that we've been waiting for. We got bloodlines, got a bunch of cavalier, we got +2. Let's go, let's do it. Let's get these villager kills. Remember what happened to the castle? We need revenge, man. We need at least 7 kills here. All right, all the way to the corner. I thought they were gonna just camp there for a second and, like, you know, just maybe be forgotten about for the rest of the game. But like, all right, we're headed in. We're gonna bring that relic home. Take the church down. I mean, this isn't enough army. Blue should have sent everything. He's about to get demolished here. Like those elephants, like the elephants will have so much more HP. It's not even funny. Like, look at that, 320 HP. Got all those upgrades. They got the tusk swords, halberdier. Blue's gonna get crushed. Let's go. Let's get some kills. Come on, you gotta get 7 before you lose this army. 5, 6, 7. All right, there we go. It's worth it now. It's worth the trade. Oh, man, brutal fight for red though. He mopped that up. We got the one hero cavalier still up though, getting some picks under the castle fire. No, there's a pokeboy. All right, so red is way ahead in KD at this point. Military numbers are the same. Huge villager lead for Knitmas, 88 to 48. So big population lead overall, 145 to 106. But Camilo, he's getting blast furnace. He's got some units in the queue. He is coming for the counterattack. Got those elephants moving out. Got the skirms, got the halbs coming too. Maybe even some big tactics here. Big brain move. We got the pincer maneuver coming on. See down there to the south, we've got like our siege battalion that's splitting up from the main force. And check this out. We've got the scout. He's running up ahead to scout. Like what can you see over those walls, bro? Like, bring back the scouting intel. What are we marching our army into? Into the sheep. The sheep. We got the sheep back. It's a Trojan sheep, a double agent. He told the scout what was going on behind the walls. And look, he's right back to the castle. He's gonna go tell the king, the intelligence, the scouting report. Like, sir, there's elephants. There's lots of them. We need to rethink our offensive. There's too much of a force. Elephants, towers, castles. Look at them. They're coming right back. After the scout took a look, the army is pulling back. So maybe we're gonna see a more calculated siege here from under the castle fire, where they've got like a stronger position to protect the trebs. So a pretty smart play. But the wolf rush, imagine having the confidence that this wolf has. Oh, poor buddy. Trebs unpacking. Let's see how the big fortified wall holds up. Look at that damage. Like it's gonna 2-shot that hole. So is blue gonna come over and repair? Gonna re-wall behind? Gonna send the army? All right. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to let him chip away. We worked so hard on that. That was a handcrafted artisanal wall. We spent centuries. That one villager. Oh, here's a kill. Halb goes down to the tower fire. So the building's really still like, you know, their back must be sore from all this carrying that they're doing. Military numbers, we got the same number of cavalry. About the same number of siege. Blue does have the cav archers though, but in actually exactly the same amount as what red has in infantry and ranged. So this should be a good fight. All right, elephant's moving out. Blue did get elite ballista. He's got heavy cav coming. Got some units in the queue. Nothing in the queue for Camilo at the moment. He's focusing on sieging down this wall. And the elephants, they're still huddled up. You know, Coach's giving them the pep talk there at the castle. See those lumberjacks, though, kind of in the middle of the battlefield? Imagine being one of those guys. Like, I'm just trying to work, man. I don't want to get trampled by these elephants. Camilo, here we go. He's moving out. He's bringing the force in. Now watch him go right up to where the wall was and just stop. A little bit of Blue's army's coming out to respond. Just those 4 cavalry, they're going to get wrecked. And, ooh, just running around. So ballistics doesn't actually affect ballista elephants. So some of those arrows they were missing as they ran across and are pulling the army away. And even it caused Camilo to pull his trebs back. I think he was afraid. He thought the cavalier were coming out to snipe his trebs. Where are Blue's trebs going up top there? Oh, all right. So blue is not engaging with his whole army. Maybe he's focusing on moving those trebs first. All right, here we go. Here comes the chonky boys. Let's go. Big fight. Let's go. Oh no, those trebs are in trouble up there. They're running unprotected into red's other forests. Listen to the sound of those elephants, man. I'm just gonna crank that up for a minute. Yeah. This game's got some sick sounds, man, especially if you've got a subwoofer. So the cav archers might actually be contributing to this fight more than I thought they would. Typically with the cav archers, you see like hit and run raiding, like lots of micro. So red's elephants right now, they've got 5 pierce armor for the ballistas and 7 on the battle elephants. And the heavy cav archers, he's got +2, but that's 7 +2. So we're still only doing a few points of damage per hit, and the elephants have a ton of HP, 320 on the battle and 310 on the ballista. So that's a lot of arrows that need to actually land to actually kill an elephant. So blue's gonna hold here, pushing back. Red's retreating back to his castle. So we're chasing. Cav archers are in front now. Before they were behind and letting the elephants tank some of that damage. Now they're right in the front, getting lit up by these ballistas, firing downhill now. So the hill bonus, it's kind of a 2-for-1. Like you're doing more and taking less. So red's got a big advantage. He's got the castle fire and the hill bonus working for him. And yeah, it looks like this is going to clean up blue's army here. Like, look at that line of elephants. Pulling back to the castle, huge move, big play from red. It was a right decision to pull back. And see, look, now we got the trebs coming in, but there's no army. Like, no, bro, take them back. If the trebs had been there just a minute earlier, he's got a good number of them. He could have taken that castle down. I think with the army support, those trebs would have stayed up long enough. I mean, Camilo's got lots of trebs too. He maybe could have just counter-sniped with his own. Either way, it would have been a better play from blue if he had got the trebs there attacking with his army. So now he's lost almost all of his military and all of his trebs. It's 49-15, huge swing in the military numbers. We were tied up before. KD is 104-54. Camilo, he looks like he's got this game. He just needs to keep the pressure on, keep pushing. Don't let Knitmus have a chance to build back up. Because like, look at the queue. He's producing out of multiple buildings, got a bunch coming out. He even re-walled. But I mean, as we saw last time, the wall's not going to last that long. When you're behind in villagers like this doing the 1TC, I mean, you can't quite call this an all-in because of how slowly it develops, but when you're doing the 1TC push, you push. If your opponent has more villagers, the longer the game goes, the less likely it is that you're going to be able to win because they can outproduce you. And blue's been doing a better job with the production so far in this game, keeping more things queued up out of more buildings. So the wall is melting again, but we've got a defensive castle coming up on the hill from blue there next to his towers. And more units. Got the elite ballista, more cavalier. So 28-57. Still, if red, he's got the walls open. He could still push in right now before Knitmus has a chance to recover. So it looks like both players are kind of they're just focusing on that big battle. We've got lots of idols, still of our sheep hanging out over there by the farms. And the wall's open and no action yet from either side. 2 villagers on the castle. The enemy's sieging our walls down, but, you know, it's a casual day building up our castle. So we'll have 3 of them. Red, I think, only has 2. So that will compound the effect of the production. That blue's, he's producing more and he'll have more buildings to do it with. Plenty of gold left inside blue's base. He hasn't mined up his initial 2 big piles that you start with. Like his main gold is still there. All 800 gold on every tile still. Good play here with the monk healing up the elephants. Monks, it's not always worth it to make them just for healing if you're using cheaper units or units with less health. But for elephants, it's absolutely worth it. You get so much value out of having a couple monks out to heal up your elephants between the fights. I'm not sure if Khmer get herbal medicine at the castle, but that can also be another big play to heal up your elephants in the castle. All right, going back to the sneaky corner. Even like 6 villagers on that castle. Like the one at home, we saw just 1 or 2 building for both sides. We've had the 1 villager castles, but this corner castle, that's the priority. And even 2 villagers building the wall now. Red had all that time to push in, and I mean, he's still forcing Knitmus to waste his stone, I guess, rebuilding. And those villagers are like, nope. Now this, have you seen that meme where like it's like a soldier in like Iraq or Afghanistan, like, you know, with, like a wall getting blown up and he's like taking cover behind it, like, oh, your day was hard at work, oh. Like that's what those two ladies were just like no, this is job not what I signed up for. I am not building this wall under the trebuchet fire. So still a huge villager lead for blue. A lot of idols though. That's again, the automation is helping red take care of his more quickly, but we've got a guard tower coming up next to the castle. So maybe we're going to see like a tower creep kind of push over here coming out of the corner. So we'll see if red's ready to defend from that. He doesn't have a ton of units at home. His army is really here with the trebuchets pushing, breaking through this wall for like the 5th time. But check out the military numbers. Blue is right back in it. Still the big villager lead, and now only 9 units behind his military, where he was behind by like 50 after that last battle when he lost everything fighting uphill. Camilo, he could have just pushed harder and could have had a chance to end the game right there after that last fight. That when you win a fight, like you gotta keep your momentum up. That you don't really get anything, at least right away, from winning the fight if you don't actually like push. Then when your enemy doesn't have units, like that's your chance to kill villagers and take down buildings. Where giving him the chance to build back up, like now when you attack, like you're just throwing your resources away into his, because he's got defenses again now. All right, so I'm taking a look in here at the tech tree, trying to see, double checking some of what upgrades they've got, and it looks like that blue, he's not got the unique techs, where red did. And I was looking at, I say there's herbal medicine. Something you'll see recommended sometimes for like, what do I do against Khmer when they get the massive elephants, is to make bombard cannons or siege onager, which Khmer actually don't get. So in the mirror, you can't necessarily do that. Well, you can't do it at all. This I don't really like the way that the tech tree looks on Xbox. It's like cumbersome to navigate, and you've got separate controls like for moving with your D-pad like from one box to the next, and you can also scroll with your sticks. But then, at least as far as I figured out, if you scroll faster to somewhere else, then you can't like actually navigate to read the item that you're looking at. You then have to like still tap the D-pad like 1,000 times. So it's not as useful as on the PC version, how you can just mouse over like the hover state on your Civ emblem shows you like the abbreviated tech tree with the indicators for what you've got. So that can be like a really handy reference on PC that we, as far as I know, don't have anything similar on console. And even the tech tree that is there, it's more difficult to navigate. So looking at the resources now, blue, he's got lots of food, lots of wood. We're kind of running, both players are running out of gold, even though blue's base still has lots of gold in it. There's no villagers actually mining. But he's got a healthy number. He's got over 100, so that's good. That with elephants, you can afford to make even more. Like in a typical game, you might go for like 120, 130 villagers, but elephants, you get so much HP per pop space, and they cost so much food that you can really invest into more farms and get more population than villagers. But Camilo, he's on his way. He's pushing in again now, finally, while blue is trying to re-wall. He's given up on patching that same area, and we're getting a wall further back, trying to keep these lumberjacks safe. That wall is not going up, though. Camilo's right there, pushing in with the ballista elephants. The wall builders, they're going down. The lumberjacks, they're going to have a bad time. Knitmus, he needs to react here. Like, bro, like, push. Like, come on. You got all that military right there. Like, defend your boys, bro. Samantha's back there running back to the castle. Oh no. Now she goes down. Elephant's pushing into the wood line, and Knitmus is at least, he's inching up a little bit, not engaging yet to defend. And Camilo's, he's headed back. So hesitant to engage and to push in here, letting blue get a chance to wall back up again. He's up to 182 pop, got a big population lead. We got 130 only for Camilo, and still the same 47 villagers. Like he's totally forgotten that his economy even exists anymore. It's elephant time now, man. We like prepared for this for the past hour and 20 minutes. What do you think I'm going to be looking at my villagers for? It is elephant time. Got the thundering herd. Let's go. Big fight here. Camilo's pushing it. Is he going to push all the way in? He's going to win the game here. He needs to do some damage as blue, he's getting further and further ahead with more villagers. And the castle's going to go down. The castle's going to fall for blue. As far as units, it looks like he's holding here again. But big raid down there. The whole wood line's gone. So it's been the Cavalier raid in the corner was the last time we really saw a raid. Really solid play, though, to mitigate the damage from blue, getting that wall up to zone off red, not letting him push in as easily as he could have. That's a good strategy to keep trying to like push the damage. Oh, another fight going on up here at the top. All this game went from like to like, wow, like all the battles all over. Got the monastery went down, and blue is continuing to push up here with the trebs, getting into red's eco. I mean, well, what much eco there is. And while he's got units at home, they're going the other way. They're heading towards that main fight. I don't think that red is aware yet. He doesn't, with all those attack bells going off everywhere, like it's just hard to know like where. Blue's holding. He's holding at home. He's losing his castles, but he's holding the position. Red hasn't pushed into his main eco yet. Well, blue is pushing in that other fight to the north. Elephant fights, like, it's just crazy, like the sustain. Like they have so much health that like this one continuous battle is just like going and going and going and going. Like it's never going to end until they run out of gold. Well, I mean, they kind of are out of gold. Yeah, elephants are crazy, man. So it looks like, yeah, we've got the one elephant that's going to take down all those trebs. See, blue's got the cavalier and the elephant like bunched up together, so they're all walking at elephant speed. And what? No, bro. I guess he was satisfied with just taking down the two. Now it's time to join the main battle. Town center. We don't need a town center. We haven't made a villager in an hour. Yeah, doing Camilo a favor, like cleaning up this useless building. I would say that, you know, it frees up space to make more castles, but, well, we're not really doing that either. And yeah, red, he did lose his other castle that was up there to the north. So he's just got the one castle now. And, well, we're rebuilding the new one right there in blue's face. That one villager, like, you know, he's got the confidence. He's the hero. He is expanding the empire. And, well, now he's walking away. He maybe just got marqueed in with the elephants there, trying to advance them forwards. And back at home in red's base, he did notice he's got the elephants now back and forth, just tanking some extra damage from the ballistas. But those trebuchets should go down. They did a lot of work over there, though. They took down a castle, the town center, the monastery, the stable, but hasn't managed to actually kill a villager yet. Camilo, he still has 47. So despite all of the pressure from this sneak attack that has been pretty successful from blue, he hasn't killed any villagers yet. Still does have the villager advantage, but population's pretty much tied up because blue's lost almost all of his army in this last big battle pushing into his base. And his buildings, they're going down now. Camilo keeps winning the fights. It's 49-6, and the KD, huge, 2-to-1 ratio for Camilo. He's doing much better in the battles, and finally now he's engaging. He's getting, yeah, you took my town center, I take your town center. So ballista elephants don't do a ton of damage to TCs, and it looks like we've lost the trebuchets at this point, but the battle elephants are in there, and that TC is just melting. No damage. See all the villagers just, you know, peacefully working as the arrows fly over their heads. That he must have clicked the town center instead of doing like an attack move or a patrol, which would let your units target other units first before focusing on the buildings. Here, blue doesn't have the military. He's got 3 military units up there coming out of the stables. Those 4 now, the battle elephants. But if you click a building, your units won't actually even respond to being attacked, especially if you do it like with like a castle. Like if you target your castle onto an enemy castle, for example, it won't shoot like petards or rams or anything coming towards it. So that's the elephants here having the same kind of behavior. Eventually now we've got some villager kills on the farms, but not until after the town center went down, since he had clicked the town center. So this is looking pretty bad for blue. Despite the huge villager lead, he lost all of them in that raid. It's now 47-51. Still not much military, and this looks like GG. Like, well played, good effort. I really respect playing full manual on the controller, especially at low elo. Like, that's awesome. You played great. Well, I don't think he's done. Got the sneaky wood line out there behind the walls. It looks like he's thinking about playing on. Still got the castle, all those towers up there. No new TC from red, but, well, what do we need a TC for? The Khmer farms coming in clutch. No drop-off points, don't need a TC. We haven't been making villagers. We're just going to farm away. So that one Treb is going to go solo the castle, it looks like. So maybe blue will react, pop a couple elephants out of there. I wonder if either player is going to ever think about reclaiming those relics. I thought that when blue initially took the monastery, he was going to send a monk over and bring the relics home. But he's actually even losing his monastery now at home. These elephants are just continuing to wreck. Here's a Koga. Here comes the defense. Counterattack. But that's not that many. Blue's, I mean, he's about to get defeated. But when you have a chance earlier in the game, waiting to build up enough numbers for your counterattack is really important. Otherwise, if you just trickle in a few units that you know is smaller than the enemy force that's already in your base, your army, you're just wasting the resources. It's like even a small numbers advantage in this game like can really snowball a fight. Like if you go into a battle just being down by like, 2 units, it can make a huge difference in how many you have left or how much health is left when the fight's over. Still not ready to give it up though. Knitmus, he's got some scouts in queue. He's all out of gold. He's got no villagers on anything but wood. 4,000 wood. Maybe could sell it at the market, but its market went down. I think he'll have to build a new market. Castle's going down. His whole base has went down. It's really... I wouldn't say... Some players kind of get upset. Like they think it's griefing when their opponent just like won't resign, but at lower elo, a lot of players really like the satisfaction of like the finality of demolishing the entirety of the enemy. And Blue he's still trying here. He's not just like sending villagers to hide in the corner or like, building annoying walls. He's got the scout and the cavalier, tag teaming the trebs there. He's going to keep his castle up for now, at least. While the cavalier's taking a break, letting the scout like, go ahead, son. You handle that one. Camilo continuing to just flatten what remains of the base here from Blue. Still have just lumberjacks, 32 of them. The villager count is, I believe, still kind of the same. Hilariously at this point, that 47 still 47 villagers. That's he never rebuilt his town center. He couldn't have more than 47. But yeah, even after all of the destruction in Blue's base, the villager number is relatively similar. So I guess despite how bleak it looks, knowing that they have still kind of the same economy, maybe Blue still has a chance. Maybe he can still come back. Maybe he's in this. I mean, I doubt it. But you're saying there's a chance. All right, so Blue's pretty dead here, so I'm just going to skip ahead. But we've got a new town center coming up over here. So really, he's really not done. So the wolf is doing his best to say, like, come on, bro, just GG already. It's over. But wolf goes down. TC is going to go up. And that castle is barely standing. Looking pretty rough over there. And a new TC in the same spot. So they're both building TCs. Again, with, like, the same thing at the same time. And another new tower, a keep, over there on the other side of Red's base. And does he see the town center? All right, so eventually Red does get over here to take down the town center. It's got a new treb out, a bunch of elephants. Well, I mean, not a bunch, but enough. And the castle and towers are chipping away, but not really doing a lot. That TC's still going down. All those villagers are going to go down too. 312 to 141 on the KD. Now, Camilo really ran away with this game. And going back in, we're going to take down... I mean, I guess we have to. If Blue's not going to quit, you just... I don't think towers... I think you could still get defeated while having towers. You just need to take out the castle. Blue does still have 23 villagers at this point. No military, and half of those 20 villagers are idle. So, I mean, really, the game's over. But we've got another new town center, now on the other side of the map. So, how's seven or so villagers building that town center? It's in range of Red's keep, though, so those villagers are getting picked off there as they're trying to hammer away to restart their home, build up. We're playing Nomad, just building town centers. But check this out. Okay, we're 2 hours into the game now. I've skipped ahead quite a bit here because nothing was much happening. Red, for whatever reason, wasn't finishing off Blue, and he was able to reestablish that base down there. And look at this scout raid. 2 hours in, raiding was not hussars. A scout raid, and look at it's the most successful raid of the game. He's tearing it up. Look at those villagers are going down. The monks are going down. Why he made the monks? He tried to go over and convert Blue's little side base there. That didn't work. The monks standing next to the keep with murder holes. Yeah, but look at this raid. Even with the castle fire, those scouts are still running around. This is a slaughter. If Blue could have done this like an hour and a half ago, this would have been a completely different game. He's panicking. He's sending the villagers now to fight the scouts, and he's down to 15. The population 38 to 34. 2 hours and 10 minutes in. Both players have 34 population. It's 25 to 10 in military. All that big force of elephants that he still had some over here. Just letting those scouts run rampant, killing like all of his villagers. He's down to 9. There's more elephants down here in what used to be Blue's base. He's got army all over. And just, this game has been wild, man. And all right, so we got skirmishers, I guess, just because that's a unit that Blue can make at this point. All of that gold is still untouched in his base. His main gold is still there, still with 800 gold on each tile. So he, at this point, as absurd as it sounds, still, I mean, could be in this game if he went back and mined that gold, because he's got, again, somehow, a big villager lead after that crazy scout raid at Town Bell. Town Bell. For the one elephant. I mean, the one elephant is cleaning up. An upgraded battle elephant against what are Feudal Age units now is, of course, cleaning up. But wow, man. What a game. Are the skirmishers going to do it? Are they going to be able to take down the chonker? All right, 76 HP. I mean, all that pierce armor, though. They're tickling him. Hey, they got enough gold for a cavalier? No, but the skirmishers are going to do it. All right, a few minutes later, and Red does bring all of the military over. And so this, I've said it, and I'll say it again. It should be over at this point. Camilo, it looks like he's got this game. Red, he's got nothing left. Still a villager lead. 23 to 4 on the villagers, but 1 military unit, 23 elephants. Same story going on for 2 hours. But this, I think this is finally it. We've got the last hurrah, unringing the town bell. I think he probably forgot. He already out there rebelling. So you can't actually unbind the bell on Xbox. I know a lot of PC players will just say unbind the bell, so you can't like accidentally even click it. But there's no custom keybinds for Xbox right now. You have the commands that they gave us. There are a few options, like there's something called split send, which changes the behavior of like confirming actions versus moving units, which I don't know. It doesn't seem appealing to me. I haven't actually tried it. It might be cool, but I don't know. I don't like it. But there's not even like presets for like different command schemes, like what other Xbox games often have. So check out the breakdown of the number of military units here on the right. Those 10 siege units that it's showing, those don't exist. If you look at the military total for Blue, it's 6, well 5, not 4, on the left side of the screen. But in the military breakdown on the minimap, I think it was still showing some of his ballista elephants from earlier. Even though they had been killed, they were still showing up in the total there. GG. Woo! That was a long one, man. Fun game, though. It's a wild ride. Back and forth with the economy, elephants. That was a fun one. So check out the stats here. Red ended up ahead in pretty much every category, despite, I think Blue, personally, I think he's the better player, or has more potential at least. Remember, Blue was the one playing on manual eco, where Red was on auto, and look at the resources there. Blue ended up pulling ahead in every category, despite the starting off a little bit behind without having the help from the automation. But check out that timeline. Look at those crazy like peaks and valleys, all those battles. Like this was a wild ride. This is a good game. This is what's so great about low elo is like you just get these crazy back and forth like struggles like this.